Hello people of the internet, welcome to episode 54 of Paint to Life, the YouTube channel where we take tiny plastic miniatures, throw some acrylic paint on there, and breathe life into them with storytelling so you might learn something new on the subject or take the story to make it your own. It's been a while since I've done a giveaway, so I'm thinking about painting a special miniature and sharing it with someone out there, a lucky viewer, and I even have a juicy Visa gift card to give away as well once I hit a special milestone on the channel. So make sure you've subscribed to the channel with notifications on so you can see the announcement on how to enter when that time comes. So anyways, on with the show. I'm GM Atank. Let's get painting. Alright, if you missed the last episode featuring Borborygmos from the Magic the Gathering and D&D crossover, you can check it out in the description below or at the end of the video. I really thought more people would watch that and enjoy it, but hasn't had that many views, so I guess not. Tonight we're going back to the Forgotten Realms with the GM Atank original and painting a Beholder Zombie. Now the very first Paint to Life episode was a Beholder, Ralacor of the Shadowfell. Much has changed around here since then. So the Netherese, the High Arcanist, how's his name? Telemont. But just in case you didn't see that actual episode, here's a quick reminder of what a Beholder actually is. I told you it was going to be a quick summary. Was it too fast? Well, here are the salient parts. Essentially a floating head with 10 eye stalks, each having a unique magical ability. Xenophobic and vicious creatures, and they didn't reproduce, they kind of spawned each other into existence, and each feeling the other was inferior to itself. That's great and all, but who is our Beholder Zombie? A group of 6 well-armed mercenaries skulk their way down into the hazy, stagnant air of the tunnels under Zhentil Keep in the Moonsea. A city so old and historied that the sewers were once the streets of the city itself, centuries ago destroyed and rebuilt upon the ruins of old. The men stop and inspect a fist-sized lump of putrefied meat. Blue, reptilian-looking scales adorn one side, while the back had slime of a fibrous, browning sinew.
Hello?
A young female's voice echoed from the hallways ahead.
Are you looking for Xayvion?
Xayvion the Beholder? By the gods, does he still live? He's been gone for years.
The men murmur amongst themselves.
Let me tell you about Xayvion.
Xayvion was a beholder of great criminal renown in the dark and dangerous alleys of Zhentil Keep. Born, or should I say manifested, into being by another famous beholder, Xanathar of Waterdeep. Xayvion immediately fled the Sword Coast and set up his own criminal cartel in the Moonsea region of Faerun. One day an emissary came down to the sewers with a young woman to meet this elusive leader of the cartel. Bound and taken by the guards, they were brought before the large floating orb. The uppermost half of his mass was blue like topaz, transitioning into a gentle tan coloring under his oculus, a spitting image of his maker Xanathar, including his large amber iris and black slit pupil of an eye. 10 eye stalks moved snake-like independently of the others, constantly surveying their surroundings for danger and or treachery.
Who are you? And who is this girl you bring before me?
The man introduces himself as Crassus, and this is his protege, Natolia. She's a beautiful, innocent-looking woman with tawny skin. Natolia had been an orphan, and Crassus had taken a liking to the youth and began teaching her his ways.
I've come to expropriate the block of city between the Black Street and Wormwood to my master, for our temple of Talona. The master cares not about you, the Zentarum, or Xanathar, and you will have no problem with the Talonites so long as you acknowledge this fact.
Now Xayvion had heard that the Church of Talona, goddess of poison and disease, had a hidden sect in Zhentil Keep, but he never expected they would be so brazen to just walk in and demand an observance of territory. Nevertheless, without any intelligence on his new adversary, he had no choice but to feign acceptance and let them leave. But all good beholders know that human intrigues are like the fumbling of babies, and as the weeks passed, Xayvion felt more and more cheated by his own lack of action. He summoned his lieutenants. He ordered them to the block, with instructions to kill anyone found worshipping or paying homage to the Poison Queen. His agents killed 8 people, tortured twice as many, and collected valuables for their patron. But the priests of the church, the emissary and his young apprentice, and ultimately the Talentar, the master, must have been tipped off of the attack because they were nowhere to be found. Now the next day, a magical image of Crassus and Natola appeared in Xayvion's lair.
Xayvion, my master saw your traitorous machinations as easily as a hawk sees a field mouse. I am to tell you, you only get one warning, and you have had it. The next time there will be painful consequences.
Before Xayvion can even comment, the two images just disappear, and he enrages. He spends hours combing his lair, looking in his hideout for listening crystals or other such devices, uses his anti-magic eye to nullify the effects of any scrying magics that might have been eavesdropping on him. Finding nothing, he then realizes he must have a spy in his midst. He most certainly had a Zentarum in a high-ranking position, and even a member of the Harpers from the Dalelands had infiltrated his cartel. But unbeknownst to him, none of the Talonites were among their company. Now that didn't stop him from hosting a meeting of all of his high-ranking lieutenants, and then cruelly vaporizing them all with his disintegration ray. Finally, after promoting new leadership, he orders an all-out assault on the church's district, and he orders his followers as well to ensure that they eradicate all the faithful, to leave none alive. The scale of this assault is so intense that the Zentarum city guard, normally content to let criminality sort itself out, would be forced to intervene and break up the murder. Interestingly, during this very chaos that would see the cartel's defenses all go on offense, Crassus and Natola, having successfully hidden themselves in the very sewers right under his nose, pay Xayvion a visit.
We warned you not to interfere. We told you there would be painful consequences. My master has decided to punish your insolence by first taking your...
A dagger was at the old man's throat, held by his adopted daughter, charmed by one of the beholder's eye stalks.
Natola, don't...
Crassus's words stop as he is paralyzed by another one of the great eye tyrant's magical abilities.
She's very much under my command now, you fool. I will keep her a forever slave, long after the death of you and your master. A prisoner in her own flesh, unable to escape, unable to die, until I choose otherwise.
With a flash, Natola slashes at Crassus's throat. His eyes betray the searing pain as they tear up, but he is still unable to move, left to the sickening bubbling sounds as he gurgles crimson. The beholder's massive mouth opens widely, exposing rows of needle-sharp teeth as Xayvion ingests the helpless emissary.
Little did he know that eating that old man was the end of the conflict between Talona's church and his cartel. In fact, it was the end of the cartel altogether.
The young woman's voice echoes from somewhere else, deeper and yet closer in the halls ahead.
You are the young woman from the story, aren't you? Show yourself and we can help you.
Indeed. Are you looking for Xayvion?
We are not looking for Xayvion. We're looking for Thomas...
I assure you that whomever you seek was eaten. Now, leave. You may keep what you've already taken from this place.
Crazy girl. We've taken nothing from this filth, and we leave with the same. Nothing. Come, men, let us return to the city and report our findings.
Once they have departed, a human female steps from the darkness into the light of nearby braziers. The woman is Natola, aged since Crassus's last days, still beautiful, but with a mottled complexion, open sores that look infected and wheat poison, a slightly acrid scent emanating from her body, and blue eyes that radiate intensity and power. A shaky, croaky voice of a beholder emanates from above her.
Wait, what did they take?
Xayvion the Afflicted floats down from the ceiling and into the flickering light, his trembling mass shuddering, dripping blood and ichor from his open sores. Some of his teeth are missing, his eyes are bloodshot and jaundice, and large areas of flesh have fallen from his skull, and some dangle, awaiting their turn.
Silence, Toad.
Xayvion's eye flinches with fear.
Whom do you serve?
You, Talona, goddess of poison, disease, and mother of all plagues.
They didn't take any of your worthless baubles, but they took something very important to me.
She looks down at a piece of diseased beholder flesh one of the men was handling earlier and cracks an intense smile.
May they share it with the whole world. Come, my sickly prisoner, trapped in your own rotting flesh and able to escape. unable to die, until I choose otherwise. It is time that we visit a new city and continue to spread my faith.
Xayvion the Afflicted. Alright, so that's my story of Xayvion the Afflicted and the avatar of Talona off to sow havoc in the Forgotten Realms. Here he is for the shelf. We've done 54 episodes of Paint to Life now. I have an entire library of painting videos with commentary in my channel in the playlists. So feel free to go back in the catalog and check out some of the episodes you might have missed, or watch the painting video. Head on down to your friendly local gaming store, pick up a similar model and paint along with us here on Paint to Life. Also, make sure you send me an email or let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see. On the community tab, I've been stirring up some ideas, and I have a bunch of collaborations coming to a head, as well as that giveaway that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. I'm thinking that I'm going to choose a winner, and that person will collaborate with me to decide how they want it painted, and then I'll paint it that way, and then present the story on Paint to Life. I think that would be a fun little giveaway. Also, a special thank you to my daughter Claire for helping me voice some of the characters in tonight's episode. If you want to check out her YouTube channel where she does fidget toys, and she also has a TikTok account, it's in the description and as well here. You could go and subscribe and make her day. That would be appreciated by me. So other than that, I hope everyone in your family is safe and healthy. I'm GM Atank. Wash your hands, people. It's funny, I just got my second COVID vaccination shot a couple of days ago, and I'm completely tired and exhausted, and yet this was probably one of the smoothest Paint to Life recording sessions I've ever done. Bring on the vaccines!